What will you like today? Another Cloud 2 classic?
I'll stick with the usual. Maybe take a little bit off the sides.
Oh, that's fresh.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
Hey, watch your head.
Welcome back to NECC Rocket League action, and we have ourselves a clash between Boise State and CMU, the second squad playing for CMU. Hello everyone, my name is Novanta, but as always, I am not alone. I'm being joined by the man, the myth, the legend himself, Lars Newt. How's it going, Lars?
Oh, I'm super duper. You know, we were talking before we got started here, and you know that I am very, very excited to be here today, and we will find out why later in this series. But one of the reasons I'm so excited is, like you said, we've got Boise State versus CMU for some Challengers Division matchups. So far, Boise State having a pretty good season. 3 wins, 1 loss, dropping to Missouri Baptist last week. On the other side of the field, we got CMU, who is 2-2, sitting at 500. So both these teams, Boise State going to be looking to extend that positive season, and CMU looking to get above 500 and really push their playoff hopes forward.
Yeah, if you look at the streaks here, Boise State did come out on the wrong end of their match last week at a losing streak of 1, whereas CMU is at a losing streak of 2. Let's see if CMU can not only turn it around for their squad, but avenge the loss of the other CMU team in the previous game this afternoon. We take it to Farmstead Night, where I'll be hanging out in the booth with Lars Newt, who is so excited. I can feel how happy you are.
I'm just like shaking over here because I'm very, very excited to have this one up and running as the teams get ready to take the field. On the side of CMU, we have, Arizona Roadrunner, Mocha Love, and the last player doesn't have the pretext, Phantom. Yep. Phantom. On the other side, we have Thunderama, I believe Circuit, and Toxic, representing Boise State.
Thunderama has been a feature of these streams before, usually in contention for Player of the Week. Let's see if the luck continues. I, for one, will keep an eye on Thunderama just because of how aggressive they may be in the mid-pitch. But, as I say, CMU is no slouch. AZ Roadrunner has been out to surprise and stun everyone, so it's going to be a good one.
I believe, actually, Circuit has won a Player of the Week in the past. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's true. But as we get into game number 1 here, 5 minutes on the clock, only way to find out who's going to come out the victor. Let's put them on the field and watch it happen.
Yeah, best of 5 series, Boise State in the blue, CMU in the orange. And we have ourselves our first goal right off the bat.
That is a quick start here on the side of Boise. That's exactly how you want to start this series. Just off the kickoff, though, 7 seconds in. It's not a lot of time for a real set of play to develop. Not a lot of time to watch how this one comes about. And really, if you are CMU, you can't let it get you down. It's basically a kickoff goal. Let it go. Water off the duck's back.
Yeah, we know that's about the mental thing when it comes to this game of Rocket League. Circuit with a clear off the line. You have AZ Rotor on another shot. That is blocked away by Toxic. Phantom trying a third attempt, but Circuit says enough of that. It's about time we start our own attack here. But Mocha Love being able to be a spoiler, him or herself, to pass the AZ Roadrunner. Toxic, eyes on goal, but Phantom gets the hands up here. Ball around the horn. Circuit using the wall to the advantage to Thunderama. Shots in there. 2-0 air raid strike.
Less than a minute in, we've got Boise State up by 2, and this is a dangerous start for CMU. We need to see them break that losing streak, and the first step is going to be getting a goal, getting some momentum against this Boise State team.
It's always interesting how the corners can be a way to either start your own run or make sure that your defense may have to be super tight to avoid a defensive miscue there. But Thunderama doubles the score line 2-0 in favor of Boise State in the blue. Phantom beats one defender. It's off to the races, has a lot of room past AZ Roadrunner. Bottom right, and it's cleared away by Thunderama. Another save, epic this time. And Phantom tries to collect for another attempt. Mocha Love going up top, but a shot wide of goal. With bicycle kick, and Phantom's there. 2-1. Wow.
What awareness out of Phantom here, getting that rotation through, trying to bump Circuit off that defensive play. Doesn't find it, but does find Toxic. And then that nice little bicycle kick to finish it off. If you are looking for a stylish way to start this series, I think that is it. It's hard to press for a better team play than that.
Lars, let me ask you a question. Let's say you are Boise State and you concede a goal quite like that, where it's a bit of individual effort, luck, and elbow grease. What's going through your mind?
Going through your mind is you can't allow players to sit in front of the net, and you have to keep that ball clear of the front of the net. Speaking of which, here's another opportunity. Thunderama trying to take a shot, and Phantom touches that one away. You have to keep that ball clear of the shooting lane. These players on both sides of the field happy to take the ball into the corner. If you are defending, keep it there. Drive it up the wall before you try to get that center for your own attack.
AZ Roadrunner collects it with a bit of a lob, bit more juice that they would have liked, but is rolled over. Then the Ramen gets a fender up. Phantom using the wall to its advantage, but it's a bit too much. Passed over. Phantom's eyeing it, but Toxic with the clear just enough to foil the play. CMU currently 3 minutes and 8 seconds on the clock here. 2-1 score line in favor of Boise State. They're in the blue here, but it looks like CMU had another idea up their sleeves, trying to pull it level, trying to get themselves ahead because they don't want to be the second CMU squad to lose today here at NEC Esports. Toxic with the clear on the right side of the wall, but it's past the circuit down to the mid pitch, but Mocha Love breaks that up over goal, but Thunderama is there quite easily, may I add, and Phantom maybe had an idea for a second attempt, but a bit too much juice on that, and they will have to reset.
The thing I like to see about these teams is they're doing an excellent job with that contained game. They're allowing themselves in the offensive end to get control, establish an attack on the net, and then follow up shots, try to starve out that defense. If you are that defending team, though, you have to get that ball clear of your zone. It's so critical to not allow yourself to get pinned back. And so far, both teams going both ways, but Circuit, just barely touching away an opportunity there for CMU.
It seems that both teams are kind of getting their own groove, and that just means a little bit of a slap in place, but Phantom with a shot that I thought was going to be cleared away wasn't, and now the game is tied.
Just a slow roller over the top, and Toxic looking for a little bit of style as they go up to save that, end up with neither, and allow that one to roll back home.
It feels bad to be like, man, you missed the ball, but I look fly though, y'all. 2-2 between Boise State and CMU. Let's see which team can break the deadlock now. We see CMU is now back in the contest. After about a minute ago, I was about to call this first game all Boise State, but it's about momentum. It's about back and forth. But Thunderama shuts up all of my questions with another air raid strike.
This is one of my favorite ways right here to get the ball in the net, and it's to attack just wide of the net. Hit that back wall, force a response out of that defense, and just like you can see here, nobody home after that attack on the back wall, and then an easy follow through. Good accuracy on that aerial shot puts Boise back in the lead.
Can't believe it, with less than 2 minutes to go. Only one goal separates these two squads, and Phantom is looking to make that 0, but Thunderama gets a fender up. Toxic rolling left, but it's demoed for the efforts. Arizona goes around the side, but that is brought down, but Circuit's there to clean it up. Kind of, sort of, to Thunderama. This is an awkward angle. It's out right in front of goal. Toxic with a slot in, and it's teetering on the goal line, and it's kicked out by Arizona Roadrunner. Oh my goodness me, Lars. That could have been dramatic, if to say the least.
Oh, this is such a fun series so far. We're just in game number 1. Roadrunner finds that top right corner to tie it right back up. 76 seconds remain, and we are just as even as when we started with 5.
What a shot by AZ Roadrunner, bringing it back level. Just a little bit over a minute to go. That witching hour within the Lars Newt hour, because he's really about the last 90 seconds of a game. 3-3 all. Who's going to be doing break the deadlock? One more. It's Mocha Love. Mocha Love, someone we saw more of a defensive effort, gets one in the net.
This is just a quick turn from CMU. They spent a lot of time in this game down. They just barely scraping out, trying to get that comeback, and now they take a lead late in game number 1, but it's only 1. You can't be resting on your laurels here. Need to keep the gas pedal to the metal, as Thunderama looking for one just puts it wide, and Toxic looking for another, and it's again just over the top of the net. Boy, he's struggling a little bit with that shot accuracy.
Yeah, shot accuracy has been the name of the game across the board in today's contest. But I can tell you that there's nothing more stressful than being up by a goal. Sometimes you kind of would be able to put your head down if you're down a goal to get more aggressive. When you're up by 1, you wonder, do you work the clock? Do you try to do it for another one? And we're seeing that a little bit here at Boise State. Toxic in the mid pitch, a little over the head there. And Phantom scoops it up, brings it up, claims it, shot, but it's cleared by Circuit, but it's still loose. And that is cleared by Mocha Love with an epic save. Circuit. Mid-pitch wall. Phantom tries to block it up, but misses it. But Mocha Love is there, shooting over a lob. Lob City. Mocha Love catches the mistake, but it's popped away by Toxic. Phantom rolling it, eyeing it, but cleared away by Toxic. Clouded away, but we're having sort of a battle in the sky like it's an Avengers movie. Thunderama is trying to do something, but Phantom gets in there, and we're looking at this result may hold.
As the level of aggression ticks up a little bit here in the last few seconds, you can see that style of heavy periods of contain, long periods of contain, starting to break down a little bit and give way to some ping pong as both teams trying to get faster up and down the pitch to try to grab an advantage.
Well, on paper, it looked really apparent that Boise State were the stronger side, but CMU had decided this is beyond paper, and they scrapped and they scratched and they clawed to not only make the game level, but they win it. Game 2, Lars Newt, if you're CMU, what do you have to do to make it a double?
Well, I'm glad you asked, because right here we have the heat map. You're looking at a heat map of every touch made during that game. So we go ahead and draw on this a little bit, and you can see what CMU has been doing well as we're getting a lot of action here in front of Boise's net. Where look at this. This shooting lane in front of CMU's net is nice and clear. There's not a lot of activity. They're getting a lot of doing a good job of containing the ball here in this corner and forcing it back up the field. I'd like to see a little bit more action at the midline here, trying to get that contain effective and really put up a wall to drive the ball either way for either team. But Boise, on the other hand, gets some contain, but they're getting a lot of activity, like I said, in front of the net.
Is there any individual that stood out for you in either squad that you want to see more of, or maybe you like their style of play?
I think so far they've done a really good job of keeping the game even, keeping it spread between all the different players and not allowing one player to be lagging behind a little bit or one player to be running away with it. And that's so critical to getting an advantage, getting that quick cycle through, getting that ball back and forth between your teammates and continuing to bring pressure down on your opponent's net.
We shift over to Utopia Coliseum for game 2. Boise State in the blue, CMU in the orange. 5 minutes on the clock in his best of 5 series. CMU has a game in hand. And, well, Lars Newt and his heat map has got me thinking, are we going to see a lot more of this kind of spread out rapid fire action, or is things are going to change tactically?
Well, if you are CMU, if it's working, don't quick. Look at that read off of the back wall. What an angle down into that net. Roadrunner. These people had a family.
By God, what a shot. Bottom angle. See, this is why it's smart, because those wide angle shots put the defense on the stretch, but the defense wasn't even in the conversation there. Wow. Roadrunner makes the deadlock a very short affair. Now Thunderama and Boise State is playing from behind. And Mocha Love stops that attack there. Toxic laying back with a lob to the left side. Thunderama with a little bit of a nudge, but pays for it dealing with the defender being exploded. Phantom bring it down. But Circuit has a shot. Pilfers, mugs, you use the adjective. We're level 1-1.
That is a beautiful little touch here from Toxic, and Phantom gets a recovery, does get a read back on it, but Circuit, knowing there's no chance of getting an effective touch away, able to get that one up top shelf in the net. And CMU needs to get back quicker, give some aid to their teammates, and get that ball clear of the front of the net.
We've seen very quickly that both teams are not willing to stay and wait for the attack. They take it to each of their opponents, and when you have two aggressive teams working, it's been kind of fun to watch. Toxic with a shot on the right, but it's cleared away by Phantom. The saves in this series have been a class of their own, and Phantom has been so reliable in the net for CMU Green. Circuit cut off by Roadrunner, grabbing it, stopped by Toxic. Mocha Love passes, looking for in the corner, but it's kind of pilfered. No, it's bungled actually. And Circuit collects it for Boise State. Eyeing the net, had a bump there, still has a chance on it, but Mocha Love breaks it up. Toxic hits it on net. The Rama goes near net, looking for a angled shot, but decides to go for it itself. And we have a little bit of a stalemate here happening. Lars, both teams are trying to figure out how to get past their opponents.
Oh, we're still seeing a lot of this action happening in the corners, and we need to see this ball get out in front of the net, try to get a better angle. The other thing we haven't seen, like we saw in game number 1, is these long periods of sustained attack. So far, the longest sustained attack we've seen has been Boise down here in the orange end for 17 seconds, but it's not that quick, fast, aggressive rotation that we saw 30, 40 seconds of attack like in game number 1.
See, both teams are kind of struggling with their shooting accuracy. Is there anything you can do in-game to fix that, or is that kind of like a training idea?
The best thing you can do there is set up better opportunities, remove pressure from when you need these shooting opportunities to arrive. And the way you're going to do that is get the ball center in front of the net, just like that. And Thunderama,
oh, man,
proving my point, as that one's high over center, and they finish it off with ease.
Is Thunderama recording a YouTube video of how to score from above? Look at that, right down the middle. I mean, 2-1, Boise State's out in front.
Speaking of right down the middle, despite Boise having the longest attacking period, we are exactly even for how much time the ball is spent in each end, but not even how much time the ball is spent in the net. Toxic off the kickoff extends that lead for Boise out to 2.
In a series of 1-goal differences, we have some daylight between the two squads. 3-1 focusing on Boise State. And now I wonder what they have in mind to make sure that, again, if CMU comes back into like the first game here. Thunderama looking probably for a fourth or maybe in a fifth away. They've been playing on the pitch there. Has a little bit fun in the air, but a stop by Roadrunner. Mid-pitch, popped up, stopped by Toxic. See the Circuit. See who with a last-minute clear. That was going in. Gets the save credit for that. Then Ram on the right side flank. Circuit in the sleeky position on the right side, but it's cleared away. Thunder, Toxic, see it, down, and it rolls in 4-1. Now, Lars, I just said a minute ago that 1 goal's hit to separate these two squads, but now Boise has a 3-goal advantage. What's going through their mind, you think?
The thing with Boise is they keep hitting this same shot and it keeps working. If you're Boise, why stop? Pop that ball up high over the middle and watch CMU scramble for the corners as they tend to leave that net wide open. If you're CMU, two things need to happen. You need to have a player staying home and you need to have a player challenging the ball. We're seeing way too many open net opportunities. Speaking of open net opportunities, that flick to Phantom to get the pass and finish that one off. That's a beautiful little play.
Call that Lob City. Roadrunner with the flick over one Phantom, but first two. And, well, now the lead is only a 2-goal game. 2 minutes and 13 seconds to go. It's a long time to score 2 goals, but I like the way that CMU just finds goals. These individual efforts have worked out for them, especially in a 3v3, which usually tends to lean towards team-based play. Toxic, though, is saying enough of that celebration. Once looking for goal number 5, but it's kicked wide. And Phantom riding the wall, tries to beat Toxic, does. Top of the net. Can it bring it down? Doesn't. Just wide of the net. Sometimes you get a little bit ambitious, as we saw there. Has another shot, though. Phantom pass to AZ Roadrunner. Floating over ever so sweetly, and it's cleared away.
A little bit of a rotational miscue there for CMU. Takes away shooting opportunity. Phantom did a great job getting in front of the net. And then again, AZ Roadrunner setting up a shooting opportunity, baiting out that defense and giving an opportunity. But a wide rotation means no one from CMU is able to finish it off. I'd like to see them tighten up a little bit, get a little bit more consistent in the offensive zone.
I have to agree with it there 100%, Lars, but Toxic just says, keep doing those mistakes. I want to get another goal for my squad. Roadrunner, a front of net with a pass, but Thunderama was there. Not sure if Thunderama was intentional with that lob, but it totally worked out in the favor. Toxic over the head. Circuit is the last guy. Car back. Effective. AZ Roadrunner. Loose ball. Phantom, miscues it. Tries to go after it, and thankfully was not punished for that mistake there. Kind of a mental error, it looks like, on Boise State. Let's see if it pays for them. Shot, but it's cleared by Mocha Love. Phantom's off to the races. Has a lot of room in front of it to flip reset, but it stops right on the line.
That would have been an absolutely disgusting shot if that 50 had worked out, but it seems like Roadrunner finding the corner on this one. It almost seems like CMU is more comfortable in the air than on the ground. You have things like Phantom driving past that ball in front of their own net and having to cycle back and go get it again, but then setting up the ground to air dribble to flip reset to 50. I guess if you're CMU, keep the ball high, just be ready, because we've seen Boise take advantage of that as well.
It's looking like next verse. Same as the first, but Circuit gets another reprieve there. A bit of respite, because I was about to say there was an opportunity for CMU to tie it up, but Circuit says none of that. Off the ceiling, and it's an own goal technically, but the fact the ball was on frame, it was going to roll in anyway.
Confirmed for Circuit, by the way, is Week 2's Player of the Week. You're seeing a little bit of an example as to why right here. Currently leading their team, 2 goals, 3 assists, 4 saves. That is a huge effort for even a series, but a single game showing up, but not going to get a save on that one. Phantom keeps us within 1 with 14 seconds remaining.
How interesting would it be if Circuit was the lone goal difference between these two squads? Because CMU pulls back within 1 and 14 seconds to go. I've seen it happen, Lars. These late game goals is definitely a possibility for CMU. And now, with 14 seconds on the clock, kickoff, loose ball. Circuit grabs it, demos it for... sorry, I couldn't see with the demo cloud smoke there. Roadrunner juggles it. My last time grabs, but it's cleared away by Toxic, and that looks like to be all she wrote for game 2, as both squads try to keep it up. Boise State wins one. They pull the series level.
That is a good, fun matchup, and it came all the way back down to the wire. Boise State spending just 2% more time down in the offensive end than CMU. Both these teams spending about the same amount of time on attack on average. It's an incredibly even matchup between these two teams. We see them both very comfortable going to the air. We haven't seen a whole lot of ground game out of these two teams. It would be very interesting to see if one of these players can show up on the ground with some very solid ground control and be able to open up a new attack vector for these teams.
Is there a way to see or track if Phantom has covered the most ground as an individual player? Because I feel Phantom's on both sides of the pitch, in the air, in the parking lot, buying souvenirs. It's everywhere.
The answer is yes. I just haven't done it yet. The other thing we're seeing here, not yet. It's coming. Don't worry. The other thing we're seeing here is the demos. They're happening. They tend to happen in the CMU end of the field. But the interesting thing here is it tends to be CMU demoing Boise. It looks like we've got 3 demos for Boise and 6 for CMU. They're using them to their advantage in the defensive end, but they're allowing this play to develop too far. It's happening too close to their back wall. I'd really like to see them take that physical aggression and move it upfield. Take advantage of being able to use demos to clear out the defensive end.
We take it to the Beckwith. Game 3, the series is tied 1 game apiece and it's best of 5. Boise State in the blue, CMU in the orange. 5 minutes on the clock. My name is Novanta and I'm rolling with the statistician himself, the sabermetrics of Rocket League himself, Lars Newt. And I can tell you one thing, this has been an entertaining and instant classic. I'm sure these two teams will meet again as we get into the playoff situation here. 5 minutes on the clock starts now, and Phantom wins that kickoff to Roadrunner, but it's a bit high off the top of the net. Toxic maybe have a shot there with a little bit of open road. Mocha Love switching to the Merc. An interesting choice to see a Merc at this level of collegiate play. I guess if they score, they can say get Merced. I guess that's the whole point of it. But Circuit off the wall, like Vega from Street Fighter to Toxic. Shot on, but it's cleared away by Roadrunner. We have a very unique game between these two squads, Lars.
It's unique in the way it tends to sit higher in the hemisphere. Another stat that I'll be looking to track in the future. There's a shot on, but it's touched away, still in front of the net, and Boise continues their attack. They've been on the attack for 19 seconds now, longer than anything we've seen in the previous game. Doing a good job of keeping this ball contained and getting in the shooting lane. They're just not following it with effective shots on net. Here's an opportunity. Thunderama is going to be the first player to clear this across the midfield, but not for long, as Toxic does a good job controlling. And I apologize, I just get so excited, I get so wrapped up. I'm stealing your job here a little bit.
What do you mean? I'm sitting in a hammock, I'm sipping mojitos, it's great. No, I'm just kidding, I'm totally having coffee. But 3:55 to go, and we're still at 0-0, and you're right, these two teams are just fun to watch. Whether you like team-based play, whether you like rotations, whether you like demolitions, whether you like banger goals, they're giving us all of that. And this is only week 5. I can only imagine when we get to the end of the season and playoffs how everything will be turned up. But Phantom is looking to be the first one to open the scoring this time for CMU, trying to avenge the other squad's defeat earlier today at the hands of Kansas Wesleyan. But Thunderama has some space, but it's stopped by Roadrunner off the wall in the corner. A bit too much juice, because Phantom and Mocha Love had a bit of a double commit, which I always say the best commits are double commits, if not triple commits. And Roadrunner has the ball one more time, but Circuit tries to get up, but it's a little bit late, but it's still flowing. The Mocha Love brings it down. And I'm getting blinded by devil clouds. Lars, what's going on?
Well, you mentioned double commits and triple commits, and I just got to say that's how we're going to win championships out here, Novanta. Is you're just on such the same page mentally that you can't help but go for that same ball. That's how you win championships. I'm kidding. You need to manage your spacing on the field. Circuit passes that to Thunderama, tries to chip that back out, and it's in the mid, and Circuit gets a savior medal. But so far, unlike game number 2, which was a track meet, 9 goals scored, we're at the halfway point here or so in game 3, and no one's found the net yet. I'd like to see, again, some of that physical play tick up, some of that passing play, and a good, fast offensive rotation to be able to force that ball home.
I kind of blame myself. I said this series gave us everything, and now we're getting a defensive classic. 0-0 still the scoreline at less than halftime between these two squads, and both teams are trying to figure out what's the way to break the deadlock. Do you go up high? Do you use the flanks? Do you have a quicker rotation, even cut rotations? We're seeing both teams throw everything at it because they're level, and it's pivotal game 3 of this best of 5. Now, Mocha Love, a little bit of a hard bop, probably to stop the ball being shot waywardly. Circuit with a heel bump, but it's cleared by Phantom. And I've been saying cleared by Phantom a whole lot tonight. I want to know if there's not going to be an award given out today of defensive effort. Phantom should win it because it's just been fantastic to see. Toxic on approach to goal, stopped. Thunderama's eyeing it, shadow it, lobs overhead, top of the net, double tap us off. But Phantom had a shot on goal there, probably the best shot I've seen all game. Didn't work out in the favor of their Mocha Love and flying minivan of doom, but it's cleared away by Phantom one more time. Maybe a second chance here. Phantom off the wall, past the Roadrunner to the top, hits the ceiling, stops a little bit of a forward motion of the ball, and that was basically on a tee for Circuit to clear away. Thunderama sees it, eyes it on the wall mid-pitch, but Phantom gets there again. Phantom everywhere, Lars, everywhere.
Well, it's interesting here speaking of everywhere, I'm tracking the stats here in real time. We're not spending everywhere on the field. More than 2/3 of the time has been spent down in this Boise half with CMU on the attack. But what's interesting to me is when we see these teams go back and forth, get that transitional gameplay, we see more goals develop. When we've got this established attack, we watch CMU Boise's net for 37 straight seconds. We don't see a whole lot of goals happening. So it may be up to both of these teams to pick up the pace a little bit and hit some of these transitions quicker, because it seems like these teams a little bit weaker defensively, or maybe a little more effective transitions. Phantom right there on the transition catches BSU in a very awkward position.
This right here is a battering ram of a goal. It wasn't going to go in, but Phantom had other plans. A little bit of assist of Thunderama, though. But with a goal happening this deep into Game 3, you start to wonder, will this be the only goal to separate these two teams?
It very well could be, with how the pace of play has been. But the flip side of that is that goal could be what shakes up this, I don't want to say stagnant, but this established defense and offensive rotation. We spent so long in that same attack over and over and over again. We do need to see Boise find a way to bring this back, spending a significantly smaller amount of time attacking that CMU net. But here's an opportunity if Phantom can't get this one over the top. But as always, Phantom confident through the air.
I'm going to use that line. I'm not stagnant, I'm established. And it's looking like CMU will have this one if it doesn't go in this net here, but it's cleared away. Yes, it is. CMU is on series point with a 1-0 defensive showcase.
That is a great showing out of CMU. They did a great job controlling the pace of play there. They spent, here, let me check the numbers, 66% of that game attacking that Boise net. The other thing I want to show here, I have to show it. I don't want to do this too often, but
do it to me, y'all.
Just look at this. Look at this heat map. Look how much time we spent. Can I put a hand up? Look how much time we spent over there in the blue end of the field. That is an absolute onslaught. The fact that Boise got away with only being scored on once, when this is what you're looking at, it shows great defensive effort, but it also means they're just not getting the ball clear. They have to find a way to attack downfield.
Yeah, it's funny you say onslaught, because if you're ever on the business end of something like that, you get more tense with every clear or every attempt, and then that opens you up for mistakes as well. And so it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy if you're allowed to get yourself in that corner of the boxing ring situation where you're just getting on the other end of haymakers and hook punches and body punches. And I know, Lars, you're a fighter, you can relate to this. What do you do to get out? How do you change the game? How do you make it go back into your favor?
You need to do one of two things. I mean, if you're talking about the fighting aspect of things here, you have to slow everything down. You have to either establish some space or get in close and up in the face. And I think if you are Boise, that's what it is. You have to get up in the face of your opponent. You have to establish some attack here, get physical, and take away the ball from them.
Oh, that's wise. I would have just tapped out. 5 minutes on the clock here at Game 4. Boise State in the blue once again, and CMU in the orange here. And if you're Boise State, you got to make sure to force a Game 5, because you have CMU at series point with a shot that was so clear twice off the goal. And Phantom trying to do a third one. Roadrunner tries to bring in the corner. Probably attempt 3 happening here. Top of the middle of the mouth of the goal. Shot the Thunderama's waiting arms. And that could have possibly stopped the attack. Maybe not here. Phantom up with a Mocha pass, but it was all for naught. And Lars, already, it seems CMU is feeling it. They have their mojo back.
Oh, yeah. 30 seconds into this game, and 40 seconds into this game, 30 of them has been spent with CMU on the attack. And as the ball sails back down into this end, they're getting into a little bit of this dump and chase. But once they get that chase down, once they get this established in the offensive end, it's so difficult for Boise to get this ball clear. I think the big thing is Boise maybe emulate a little bit. Since they're not controlling this effectively out, send it downfield and chase it aggressively. As you see Toxic back off the ball there, it's going to be so critical once they get this ball down here to stay on top of it, be fast and aggressive in your challenges.
It's one thing to note that we've seen CMU come back within one of a deficit. They're going to do that here with Thunderama with a fairly easy shot on goal. It seems like Roadrunner was pushed out of goal and Phantom was just stunned there, and Roadrunner kind of went for boost at the wrong time. That was defensive breakdown, but that gave Thunderama all the time they needed to get there out in front. Boise State 1-0.
It was a little bit of an awkward turn out of Phantom, and over rotation as a kickoff goal is going to quickly also go to Boise State's favor. But going back to that last goal, it was a good shot by Toxic to get that one off the backboard. You heard me say it already tonight. Attack the backboard, not the net, and then follow it up with opportunities, because you get exactly what happened there. Phantom, watching that ball coming off the backboard, isn't aware of where their teammates are and of where the opponents are attacking from. So they end up over-rotating, coming forward out of the net, and by the time they realize where they've put themselves and where that ball is going to be shot from, it's too late. There's nothing they can do.
Does feel Boise State's playing with their backs against the wall. They're at series point, but they currently have the lead now. Ooh, it could have been easily 3, but the scoreline is 2-0 favoring Boise State in the blue. Shot around goal, but that is swatted away. Phantom another shot opportunity, but that's also stopped by Circuit. Circuit has been so smart to eye these shots on goals, almost like he's living in the future. Pass to Thunder, brings it down. Toxic collects it, mid-pitch driving, taking the scenic route. Pass one defender, but stopped by Phantom. Now the ball's loose. Mocha Love in the murk on the side wall, but decides to abandon it. Maybe a back pass, but Roadrunner was not there. And I wondered if that could have been an actual scoring attempt had they linked up a little bit quicker on that exchange. But maybe it's all for naught. Ball right for the net. Circuit with a last-ditch effort to clear it out. And Thunderama is making quick work to make sure that ball is being sent on the other side.
You asked me earlier in this series if there was a player that was standing out to me as someone that needs to step up a little bit more and bring a little bit more of a contribution to the team. And I think I'm finally ready to answer that question.
Okay.
Mocha Love hasn't been super active in this series so far. It's been mostly Phantom and Roadrunner looking for those offensive opportunities and clearing that ball away in the defensive end. As that's a big pinch. It's going to walk all the way back. Or Boise Circuit picks up yet another. That's their second of the game.
Well, it's a bit too early, if not way early, to call this a dagger, but it's looking like a pocket knife. Here's another goal that would not have gone in had there been one person back, but it was all for naught. Boise State's with a commanding lead now, 3-0, about 2 minutes and 19 seconds to go. Lars, but let me ask you though, what does Mocha Love have to do then? Does it just become someone that just ignores rotations? Do they just start putting people in demo zones? Like, what does Mocha Love have to do to step up here in this situation?
It comes down to speed and pace of play. We're seeing, like I said, we've been harping on it all night, the wide rotations out of both of these teams, but particularly CMU. If you are taking these big wide rotations, doesn't give you a whole lot of opportunities to get involved. You can see even there, Mocha Love, this is not unique to them, by the way, attacking from the midfield line. When you have these teams that are so capable of getting long established offensive rotations, Toxic with a good find over the top. And at this point, I'm just going to power through. You have teams that get these long established offensive rotations. You have to be able to work that wall up the field, not just establish that wall at the midfield, but bring it to the top of the box and then bring it right in front of the net. And eventually there's no space left for that ball to go, but in the net.
That last goal underscores the fortune that Boise State has, looking to force a Game 5 in this series. And if the standard record holds, it would be a Game 5 situation. And that Lars Newt time of the final 90 seconds of a game, I'm not quite sure CMU has the moxie to score 4 goals, but I won't write them out yet, because some of the goals we've seen in this contest have been, how do you say, unorthodox to say the least. 1 minute, 20 seconds to go. Thunder on with a long clear. Phantom catches it smartly, rolls off the ceiling, juggles it a bit too far ahead. It was one touch too many, but it passed to Roadrunner. Try to try something else, pick up the same plan his teammate had. But Toxic over misses it. Thundermom was the last person back. Thankfully, graciously swats it away. Mocha Love trying to prove Lars Newt wrong, and then somehow juggles the ball there. Over net can be brought down by Phantom. Nice little touch there, but it's off the line and it's not going in. And Roadrunner would love to have that opportunity back, but it was all for naught. 45 seconds to go, and it's looking very, very clear that Boise State has pushed to Game 5.
Yeah, the level of pressure required at this point to pick up 4 goals in 37 seconds. That's going to be a tough sell. Doable, yes, but you know how I look at it. The more players on the field, the harder it is to make a significant comeback. 1v1s, you got 10 seconds, you're down by 4, go for it. You still have a chance. 3v3, that's kind of a different story. Now going on to game number 5 here, of course, Novanta, who else but you and I for game 5 decider. going to be which of these teams can find effective chances on the net. We're getting lots of looks, lots of opportunities, but not a lot of effective shooting opportunities down on the net.
Yeah, the only game I thought that CMU had in control was game 3. Everything else has been fighting from a deficit, which is one of the most exhausting ways to have a series. But we're at game 5 coming up now, and they meant to put up another bag of tricks, maybe another card change, maybe in order for them. Something will have to be jostled if they want to walk away with this one.
This is interesting here. Looking at this game, it definitely looks like CMU brought better control to this game. I know what you just said about they didn't feel like they're in control, and you really can't tell, especially looking at that score line, looking at a bit of the scramble that's going on here. But they spent more time in the offensive end. They spent longer times in the offensive end. They got their pressure closer and closer to Boise's net than Boise ever got towards CMU's net. What that says to me is Boise got a couple of lucky goals here. They had a big pinch off their own wall that was set all the way down the field. They had a couple of freebies out of CMU, and they didn't really spend a lot of time making their own magic. We had that one very nice pass off the back wall to open up an opportunity as Phantom over-rotated out of the front of the net. We need to see them, if they want to walk away with this series, create their own magic, find their own opportunities. On the other side, CMU, very comfortable in the air. They're starting to get met by Boise. We need to see them change it up. A lot of the demos that have been happening are happening in front of their own net. Like I've asked, bring that downfield. There was one demo on the Boise side of the field. Bring that physical aggression down the field and control that ball close to themselves on the ground.
Well, let me ask you a question. When you have a team you're playing against, you're in game 5, do you hold back magic tricks, or is this kind of like doubling down to what worked? I mean, what do you go for it in that situation?
If you have something that works, keep hammering it until it stops working. Keep going with that until the other team cracks the code on how to shut it down. If you don't have something that works, game 5, find a way to safely push the boundaries, relatively safely without overcommitting yourself. Look to get creative.
9 seconds elapsed and already 1 shot on goal and 1 save. Best of 5. Boise State in the blue, CMU in the orange. Next one to win this game will win the series. And if you're looking to be CMU, they want to erase a 2-series losing streak. And Boise State does not want to have 2. But right now, it looks like Boise State is broken the deadlock. 1-0 circuit.
That's a good start for Boise here in game number 5. As you know, statistically, the goal. Look at me. It's going to be numbers for the rest of my life. That's going to be me, the numbers caster. But statistically, the team that scores first tends to win. And if you are CMU, you needed to get some momentum out of the gate, especially after getting crushed in game number 4. This isn't a good look for them. I'd like to see them score quickly, answer back quickly, not allow Boise to rest on this momentum.
Momentum is always the name of the game in Rocket League. It does feel a little bit like Boise winning the first 3 games this series is dropping 1, may have a little bit of their heat streak left if they come out with a win in this one. But not to write out CMU, they've taken it to them, and that's why we're in game 5 now. 4 minutes and 3 seconds on the clock. Mocha Love beats 1 defender. The circuit had plans to pass Thunderama or route them off the goal, but Phantom is there to prevent a shot in the 6 o'clock position. Phantom setting up Mocha Love, using the wall to the advantage. Off the short wall, but Circuit catches it, eyes it, and clatters it away. With Thunderama trying to pass the self, but Phantom saw it. Double tap may be intimate, but it did not work for them. Mocha Love with a second chance, rolling in front of goal, but there's a double platoon of Thunderama and Circuit get rid of it, but Roberta catches it out of nowhere, and we're tied.
What a rotation up the wall. I was very scared watching this develop, if I have to be honest. We saw the entirety of CMU's team upfield. We saw a quick transition developing on the side of Boise, and then you see Roadrunner cut up the wall instead of going back to the net as the last player back. It's risky. It's a gamble, but it pays off. Roadrunner takes advantage of BSU running down the field, but BSU is going to answer back and take advantage of that kickoff.
Look at this kickoff goal here. There was a bit of a mid-pitch. Circuit sees it, sees 2 defenders coming, and fakes one and rolls it wide for the other. Phantom got there quick enough, but got there quick, but not quick enough. And that's why Boise has 2 goals. We're getting these hard, fast, thick and fast. 3 minutes and 28 seconds to go. And I do think if you're Boise State, you have to win this game in a very convincing fashion. You don't want to leave yourself open to a comeback or to a overtime situation. And they're hearing me right now. Toxic makes it a tray.
Oh, yeah, exactly like you were saying. You need to get a lead and then extend it. Thunderama with a huge bump on Mocha Love. I know we harped on Mocha Love a little bit, but they never stood a chance there. It's not their fault. Thunderama, hugely physical. Speaking of physicality, I'm looking at my map of demos over here, and once again, we've got 6 demos. One of them is down in the Boise end, and the majority of them, 4 of them, have been done by Boise to CMU down near their goal line. We need to see CMU bring some of that physicality, those bumps, those demos, some of that aggression. But Thunderama, speaking of aggression, with a gorgeous read off the back wall.
Well, Lars just scientifically proved that that side of the pitch is the rough side of town, and Thunderama makes another shot happen, 4-1, and this lead is now becoming a way more pronounced.
Great aggression out of Boise, and they are just running away with it. And like we said, if it's working, don't quit until it cracks, and then get creative, try to find something new. But so far, CMU doesn't seem to have an answer for anything Boise can throw at them.
I do think there's a chance for them to get a couple goals, but they have to start now. 2 minutes and 40 seconds on the clock. Roadrunner stopped by Toxic. He was a goal there, excuse me. Toxic actually scores the goal, but Thunderama gets the steal, if you counted steals in this game. Comes out of nowhere and gives it on a platter. Thanksgiving dinner. Toxic makes it 5-1. The nickel has happened. Lars Newt.
Part of these wide rotations, we keep talking about CMU making wide rotations in the offensive end. Well, they're doing it in the defensive end as well, and it leaves a lot of downtime from when their net is covered every time a challenge is made. Need to see them tighten that up a little bit, be a little bit more consistent in getting that attack away from the front of their net and continuing to guard the front of the net. Always have a player rotating through ready to pick up a save.
Pick up a save indeed, and I do think that Roadrunner wants to save this series for the squad, but they're gonna have a almost insurmountable mountain to climb. 2 minutes to go and down by 4 goals. Stranger things have happened in this great sport of Rocket League, this great craft of car ball, but I am not sure that seems to be in the cards for them today. 2 minutes on the clock, circuit, mid-pitch. Oh, stop by Thunderama. Great, good idea to get in the face of an opponent. To Toxic rolls it in, and they're at 6. And Lars, gotta ask the question, are we heading to Rio?
Ooh, I'm gonna go with no, but the answer is gonna be because at this pace, it's because Boise's gonna find double-digit goals. They're just past halfway in this match. They're actually almost exactly on pace for 10 goals in this match. If you are CMU, that's a scoreline you don't want to see at the end of week 5, regardless of taking this to game number 5. Getting shut down a couple of commanding games in a row. You need to find a way. Let's derail this Boise State team. Set them off the tracks and get a little bit of momentum yourself. Thunderama with a diving save out of the back corner. Keeps it clear, but Mocha puts one on, and Thunderama again keeping it clear.
Thunderama is making sure that CMU is playing this game on hard mode with another clear off the line. 6-1 with a little bit over a minute to go here. Here's a chance to add to the score line, but another cleared away by CMU. They are reeling, Lars Newt. They're trying to find something, anything to stop the bleeding, and that shot was top of goal, but Circuit's and pass, it's in there. 7-1. We're heading to Rio, baby.
On our way down to Brazil, and let's see if our flight is canceled or not. Game 5 looks pretty commanding fashion in favor of Boise. A comeback at this point would be absolutely incredible, but the way CMU has been playing so far, I just don't see it happening.
Yeah, it's one of those things that even if they did get the comeback in CMU's case, you don't want to put yourself in that situation so deep into the season where teams are getting as crisp as they can. But you know what? Any team with a fighting spirit will try to improve that score line, because losing 7-5 is a lot more respectable. We've got 41 seconds on the clock here. BSU is probably looking for another one, but Mocha Love steals one from right up under his opponent, 7-2.
Unpack the bags, drive back home from the airport. We're not going to Brazil, but you still got a long road to watch CMU pick up the victory here in this series. I think it would go down as one of the all-time greatest comebacks this year for NECC, but Boise continues to look aggressive. They continue to look confident. They're getting good passes and good pressure down the field.
Pressure has been the name of the game and probably the name of the series and Circuit. With a solo effort over 2 defenders, well, geez, what did we just see? This is something out of a tutorial of how to score your opponents.
Well, step number 1 to scoring is getting shots on net. Boise, so far with 30 seconds remaining, has 14 shots on CMU's net, as CMU has 5 shots to their name, 3 of which to Mocha Love. And Phantom's going to find the number 6, which gives them a goal, but now 5 goals in 21 seconds. I think we can probably say congratulations to Boise State at this point.
Definitely a consolation prize, but you know what? I love a team that does not give up. And speaking of Boise, may have this one to run away. Got to give a shout out to Thunderama. 1 goal, 5 shots on goal, 4 assists and 2 saves. A complete performance on both sides of the pitch. Their supporters may be proud here. 30 seconds to go, and Mocha Love makes it 4. Now this is different because Brazil is one thing, but 8-4 is just a bad day at the office.
Well, it's a good hat to hang your head on. It's a good place to hang your hat on. Is you were down heavily in this game going through the end of the game, and in the last minute or so, we're able to pull this one back, salvage a little dignity, and show that you can make Boise State bleed. You just can't do it early enough and fast enough to take game number 5. And as the ball touches the ground, game 5 to Boise State. Congratulations.
What a match. The scoreline does not really tell the whole story, Lars, but I was on the edge of my seat. This one here was a classic. We got defensive games, we had high-scoring games, potential comebacks, foiled comebacks. It was great.
Yeah, we saw a whole bunch of different gameplay styles here. We saw some of that ping pong back and forth. We saw some of that contained, established offense. We saw high game. We saw low game. We saw ground to air. We saw off the wall. We saw passes. We saw solo plays. You're right. We got everything. And at the end of the day, it's almost a shame that it ended in such dominant fashion for Boise. Not to discredit them. It's an awesome showing from them. All players picking up over 600 points. But it doesn't really reflect on the potential of this series. I think Boise, yes, very dominant, very established, but CMU is a capable team. When they were on, and they could keep this one close. It just seems to be a bit of an off day.
Let me ask you a question there, Dr. Newt. We have all of your data here. We watch it. Other teams are probably watching this feed right now. What can they extract if they are in the same conference, same division, even a whole different side of the table as these two teams today? What can they extract from your data today that can apply to their own games?
Let me show you. What can you extract out of this? Let's see. I hit the wrong button? What can you extract out of this? Well, look at this heat map.
Woo.
Boise, what do you see here? Nothing. There's nothing in front of the net. On the other side, CMU. Look at that. The attack. Boise doing a great job of forcing that ball out to the corner and then taking it upfield. Kind of avoiding this midfield. I'd like to see some of these attacks rotate through and come up the field like this. But you get that attack in front of that. The other thing, I don't have the setup right now to show you the demo map, but you saw demos here. We saw demos here. We saw demos here. We saw demos here. Just all over here. We saw a demo here, and we saw a demo here. What does that say to you? Well, we saw a lot of goals in that CMU net. Get aggressive, get downfield, push downfield, get the ball in front of the net, disrupt physically that defense, and then slam that ball home.
Well, that just tells me that a lot of teams are afraid of going down Broadway. But yeah, I think that's a very noble cause. I think we'll be having one of the teams in chat for the post game there. I'm getting words from our producers that we'll have one of the players from Boise State at the ready. But I gotta say, Lars, one of the things I liked watching this is that in the spirit of the game, you kind of feel things. This confirms it. That it's great to push the ball to the side, but sometimes you gotta get a little aggressive.
It's vindicating for me to sit here. I've been saying for months and months and months, well, this is how you have to attack the net. And now we can show, we have the proof. The proof is in the pudding here. You clear the ball to the corner in the I'm scrolling on the wrong thing. You clear the ball to the corner in the defensive end. You drive it up the field. Then you bring it into the front of the net and you attack and you re-attack and you re-attack and you get physical and you clear that net. That is how you win Rocket League games. The other thing you do, by the way, is you keep that ball close. You can't see it here, and I'm working on the way to show you. You can't see it here, but you keep the ball close to your car. You don't just send it. There's a time, there's a place when you need some breathing room. You've been beaten down as a defense. You just got to launch that ball into the other end and find some breathing room, reset a little bit. But if you get a good established transition, you want to keep that ball close to your players because it gives you the advantage of being able to make decisions with that ball, make the ability to pass or shoot, or even just bait out a 50. Whereas if you're bouncing that weight out in space, it allows your opponents to come up and tee off.
That's a good point. Definitely something to take to the bank there. But also, you look at CMU, they're now loser of the last 3 series. What has to change?
the consistency for one. We saw, I know we mentioned it, I think it was game number 2, we saw Phantom hit just a disgusting ground to air dribble that unfortunately wasn't enough to beat out all 3 Boise players, but it got 2 of them. And it was a solo play. They're off the ground, they go up, they carry it through the air, they get a flip reset, they hit the flip reset, and then they bait out a 50, and the 50 just doesn't go their way. But we see them also drive past the ball on the ground and not get those passes. We get these wide rotations. We talk about this a lot, especially at higher levels. We've done a little bit of RLCS and things like that, where it's almost like the teams breathe. You can feel them get closer and further from each other and tighten up those rotations or expand them out as necessary, depending on the pace of play, where you're on the field, where the momentum is going. For CMU, it was a lot of just exhale. It was a lot of spread out players, wide rotation, spending a lot of time rotating all the way out for boost, things like that. Get comfortable in low boost scenarios. Get comfortable with pads and pennies. Get comfortable getting close to each other and squeezing that noose down until you can put that ball in the net.
Yeah, I've been fortunate enough to cast Boise State a couple times this season, and they just seem to be a lot more refined. And as we wait for one of the Boise State players to enter the chat, I do think we have Toxic here with us. Toxic, how's it going?
Good. How about you guys? Yeah, isn't it Thunderman?
Oh, wow.
I was like, that's the wrong T name.
Hey.
Well, we can do both. I have faith. We can do both. Guys, congratulations on your win. What was the key? We just spent a lot of time speculating on how and why you guys walked away with the victory, but we're not in the heads of the players. What are you talking to each other about? What was the key that allowed you to go from kind of a close scrum in those first 3 games to just absolutely dominant in the last 2?
Well, I think that we're pretty often a slow starting team for these NECC matches, and we never really lost hope, I would say, but our coach was in there to kind of tell us, like, focus up, and then we kind of kept reminding ourselves that, and Toxic was saying it between every goal, and then we kind of just were able to come back.
Well, consistency and keeping your mental composure so critical. I saw you were very comfortable in the air earlier in the series, and that seemed to die off a little bit. Were you noticing that Boise was meeting you up in the air a little bit more often, or did that just happen to be a natural evolution of how you were trying to attack the net?
I think like we were kind of quick on offense in the air, but they were quick on off when they were on offense in the air. So I think some of those games they had a lot of pressure on us, and we weren't able to beat them in those situations, but we were able to make up for it on offense ourselves.
One of the things I try to figure out which is more stressful, and that is having a 1-0 defensive game or having these situations where there's so many goals coming thick and fast. As far as rotations, as far as defensive positionings, is there a preference, or is it kind of like it's all the same to you?
Let Toxic take this one.
I don't know. I think it kind of feels the same, but at the end, losing the 1-0 game probably feels worse than the high scoring game. Because you put your heart out, you're playing defense really well. Your offense obviously isn't working out since it was 1-0, but it's not like both defenses are really bad. So it definitely sucks more to lose the game that's 0-1.
Well, that is some interesting insight, and it really gets into what we've been saying, really the note for this entire season, which is it all comes down to the mental game. But you guys are going to be feeling pretty good on the mental side of things after that last 2 games, games 4 and games 5. Thank you for taking some time to talk to us here, Toxic and Thunderama, excuse me.
Thunderman.
Thunderman is such a commanding showing coming down on that net. It just felt like thunder striking, the hammer, Thor, whatever. I'm totally sidetracked. Congratulations, guys. Go celebrate with your team. I know we have lots more Rocket League to bring you here tonight. Some exciting matchups coming here. We got champions up next. Fresno State Blue versus Alabama Crimson. On behalf of Novanta and myself, we will be right back. Make sure you stick around.
What will you like today? Another Cloud 2 classic?
I'll stick with the usual. Maybe take a little bit off the sides.
Oh, that's fresh.
The HyperX Cloud 2 Wireless. Legendary comfort goes wireless.
Hey, watch your head.
This is the beginning of something special, something different. The games may change, but competition and skill do not. Students coming together to represent Fresno State with support and leadership. Fresno State students will discover and develop their potential. From all walks of life, esports players are passionate, driven, dedicated, and bold. They'll train, learn, and grow together, striving to be the best gamers and future leaders in our community and world.
Rise up. Esports has come to Fresno State, and it starts now.